Hey everyone, what you're about to watch is the most valuable segments from my weekly Q&A, where new and experienced recruiters get together to ask questions and solve problems. If you want to join the next one, just click on the link in the description to join. It's completely free. You don't need to give me your email address, telephone number, or anything like that. And I'll personally be there to answer any of your questions. Oh, and I've also put together this recruitment starter pack for those in the beginning of their journey, which tells you exactly how to get your first client. You can grab that once you're in our community for free as well. All right, then let's get back into the video. Pretty much everyone here is either started their recruitment company or in this sort of in the early stages of starting a recruitment company. And yeah, that's I guess that's what everyone's kind of here for, to learn from each other and share value.
I would say, what would you give to like someone that is starting that like the morale, like sometimes you can have just this the morale can just
Yeah.
you just feel, oh, will I be able to continue with
I
this?
mean, if you don't
Yeah.
get that, if you don't get demoralized in recruitment, you're not doing it right, maybe. Because
It's
even
part of recruitment.
it is really, honestly, shall I tell you? So I started recruitment in 2015. That's when I first landed my recruitment job, and I kind of stumbled across it. I didn't actually know too much detail what recruitment was. So once I got into recruitment, I was doing it for a few years. It's up and down recruitment. So there's times when things are going great. You're finding candidates for the right clients. You're finding clients for the right candidates. So things are like going really well. So when you're going through that patch, everything's going great. But then you go through a patch where you just get a lot of cancellations. You got a client, but you can't find the candidate, and you're struggling finding candidates. And then you find a candidate, but you can't find the right client. And then you just had enough of recruitment. I would say I've handed in my notice about 4 or 5 times in recruitment when I was working for a company. Literally, I wanted to quit so many times. You get enough of it. You just get fed up of it. You're like, it's just not working out. But honestly, you've got to be resilient. You got to kind of keep going, because like every no that you get is just one step closer to a yes. And one deal that you get through will make up for like all those no's that you got. And so yeah, it's worth it. But yeah, it does require patience, because it's
One,
not easy getting rejected every time. Like how many calls you make, for example, let's say 100 calls, out of the 100, you might get one yes. So yeah, it gets demoralizing. What are you going to say,
one,
Asad?
one thing I'd say to add to that is I know they say KPIs, is try and like give yourself a target of like today I want to onboard a client, or today I want to send a CV. Don't always be like I need to make £10,000 by the end. And obviously you can celebrate your small wins. So they're getting you to that higher end target. So give yourself a target. For example, if you want to make £10,000 by the end of the month, say in week one I need to achieve this, and you can slowly track that. So also, yeah, like you said, it doesn't always go away. I'll give you an example. I placed a solicitor. She was going to start last week. I waited close to 2 months for her starting, and she didn't start the job. She didn't turn up. So it happens. But I think the way you have to think about it is don't be naive and keep pushing, because there is good candidates out there. There is good clients out there.
There is, yeah, there's definitely, and there's good money to be made out there. Honestly, I can't tell you another job. Obviously, I haven't had another job that pays as well as recruitment. It pays really well, like, because there is no limit to how much you can earn. It really depends on like how kind of greedy you want to be. Like you can just keep on working, just putting in more shifts in, filling in more vacancies to earn more. So it's really rewarding. But yeah, you do go through times where you just get too much of it. It takes too much on your toll, mentally, because as I said, imagine you find a candidate and you've booked this candidate in, and the amount of convincing it takes you to do this, and the amount of negotiating also it takes you to get this deal done, and then the deal goes through, and then she starts 2 months later, and as the 2 months approaches, only to let you know on the day or a few days before, I'm not doing this job anymore. Some of them don't just let you know. Some of them they just don't answer the call. They literally just turn the phone off. I've had candidates that just block me. They're like, yeah, honestly, you feel like, what have I done? It's just they don't want to take the job anymore, and sometimes they don't know how to say no. So
Yeah.
instead of saying no, I'm not going to commit to those shifts anymore, what they'll just do is they just ghost on you. They ignore your calls and they just block you. And then
My
I've had to
candidate
catch them
doesn't
out.
save my number. Yeah, you do. My candidate doesn't save my number. So when I called off my office or the VoIP, my office number, I was like, yeah, I called the number to just confirm. didn't answer it, calls me back. Obviously, I've saved her number. I said, hi, recruitment professionals, puts the phone down. Then in the week, another time I called again, didn't answer, called back because they don't know who they lose track. And then again, I said, hi, recruitment professionals, put the phone down. So, yeah, they're not all like that. There's some really nice candidates. I spoke
Yeah.
with a lady I placed about a couple of weeks ago in a law firm, and she was on, I think, a 45 to 50,000 pound salary. The salary I put her forward was part time, earning like 20 grand a year. She goes, because I've got elderly mum, I've done the job, I just want a job, I want to do part time hours, and I've spoken to her, she's over the moon, met her requirements. It's not some of these candidates, they don't always want the high salary, work life balance, they want hybrid, they want remote. There's so much more these days.
Yeah, we're just going. I guess we get to give you guys the worst case as well. The worst ones we've had. Like for example, the funniest one I had was I've had a nurse. I actually remember her name. So I had this nurse, and she said to me, "I can't do the shift anymore." And bear in mind, this was a new client I'm working with, a huge client. It's a massive contract. And a day before, she calls in to say, "I broke my knee." And so not day before, a day before, she just calls in and said, "I broke my knee. I can't come into the shift." And I'm like, what are the chances of breaking your knee the day before your shift? I mean, obviously it's possible, but in recruitment, you start to have like trust issues with all your candidates. Like, are they telling the truth? Are they lying? So on the day that she was supposed to do the shift, I just contacted her from another phone as another recruiter from another company. And then she tells me she's working somewhere else. Honestly, this lady told me she broke her knee. So then I told her, it's not so and so. It's actually me. It's Ahmed. I'm calling from this recruitment company. I'm the recruiter that you told you broke a knee to. And she started breaking down, crying on the phone to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, honestly, she started crying. So like almost making me feel bad. And then she started telling me about the death that she had in her family many years ago, and like guilt tripping me for not turning up. So yeah, I guess these are like the extreme scenarios that we see.
I thought I had a girl, she goes, I'm over the moon to have the interview. She didn't turn up. Well, that's fine. Interview didn't turn up. Then she calls me and she goes, I'm so sorry. I was like, this one is a bit emotional. She goes, please, I'm going through a lot. Can I rebook it? I said, I rebooked it with the client. I gave the opportunity again. The client goes, yeah, it's fine. We're given another opportunity. And then she didn't turn up again. And then she calls me again. She goes, I want the job. This time I said no. So she did turn up for 2 interviews, and on the third time she wanted to rebook again. That's when I thought no.
Yeah, I guess we could be here all night. We're just gonna be complaining about our experiences. But yeah, anyone else got any questions? Bridget said, yes, it's about recognizing the talent through 360 feedback and retaining of staff. I've paid for a domain and was hoping to look for a business partner. I don't mind recruiting either, but it's a lot of stress, legislation, vetting, etc. So Bridget is looking for a business partner by the sounds of it. Any takers? Put your hands
I
up.
paid for a domain, was hoping to look for business. What does she? It'd be interesting to say what involvement she wants. Bridget, if you want to message me directly to see what do you want to do and what do you want done for you. I think that'd be a bit more. That'd bring a bit more clarity for me.
Yes. How does that sound, Bridget? Thumbs up. I think maybe she was looking for where the thumbs up button is. What time is it? How long we got left? We've got 5 minutes left.
Then
Let's go for it.
Ahmed, I've got one question. How important is it to like niche down? Because I speak to a lot of recruiters, and some say definitely try to like niche down, especially when the market's saturated. And then others say as in as in like niching down is not really a thing. Just keep your reach broad in terms of how many roles and kind of like roles that you basically like fill and deal with.
When you say niche down, is it within a niche?
Yes,
Because
exactly.
yeah,
correct. Niche down with an actual niche.
yeah, or just being broad but within that niche. For example, is it IT that you're doing, or
IT, exactly. Yeah. For example, yeah, exactly that.
yeah. So just keeping it general IT,
Exactly.
or specializing in like DevOps engineers, or
Exactly.
Yeah. IT is not really my field, but I would say, look, if the more niche you make it, the more narrow so tunneled vision you become, the less reach that you naturally will get. So if you keep it not too niche, so for example, if you only focus on like DevOps engineer and you get like a cloud engineer vacancy, like, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm only going to be doing DevOps engineers. You're kind of like becoming like two-dimensional. So
Yeah.
I'll say just be a specialist in IT generally, and yes, you can be a bit more of a specialist in one field than another, but also go for any vacancies that you get. So
Yeah.
not just only
makes sense.
focusing on, don't neglect any work that comes through. Kind of, if you can fill in, you've got the capacity, you've got this, you probably do have the skill sets or the like, you know what you're talking about, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so then I would say go for it as well.